Is your brain going a million miles an hour, replaying every tiny interaction and freaking out about what your partner is really thinking? Do you feel that massive wave of anxiety the second you feel even a tiny bit of distance? You keep screaming at yourself to just chill, but your own happiness feels like it's 100% tied to their mood. So you stalk their social media. You analyze every single comma in their texts. You write and rewrite your own messages, all in a crazy attempt to control how they feel about you, to lock down a future that feels insanely uncertain. Let's be real. This anxiety loop isn't love. It's a prison you built for yourself, and honestly, it's exhausting. The ancient Stoics knew this exact feeling. They understood what it was like to be trapped by things you can't control. Whether it was what people thought, the mood of a crazy emperor, or, yes, if someone loved you back. But they didn't fight anxiety with more anxiety. They beat it with one insane, secret practice, embracing that nothing lasts forever. Now, this isn't about being a cold, heartless robot. This is the secret to loving someone freely, without that desperate, suffocating need for control. This is the key to unlocking a love that is huge, resilient, and built on your own unshakable peace. And today, I'm giving you the 5 Stoic challenges to finally destroy your relationship anxiety. The first shift: reclaim your power by focusing only on what you control. First up, this is the absolute foundation of Stoicism. This is the one pillar that, once you actually get it, will literally tear down the entire prison of your anxiety. The Stoics called it the dichotomy of control, and it's a simple but insane life hack. It just asks us to divide everything in the world into 2 buckets: things you control and things you do not control. So, what does this look like in a relationship? Well, most of us spend 99% of our energy on that second bucket. We obsess over what our partner thinks. We worry if they're bored of us. We come up with insane strategies to make them love us more, to guarantee they'll never leave. We become these frantic puppet masters, pulling on strings that aren't even attached to anything, wondering why the puppet won't dance. Here's the hard truth. All of that is outside of your control. You cannot control your partner's feelings, their thoughts, or their mood. Trying to do it is, as the Stoics would say, completely insane. You're pouring all of your energy into a project where you have zero power. This is why you're miserable. Epictetus, a guy who went from being a slave to a legendary philosopher, said it perfectly. People are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. Your anxiety isn't from your partner being distant. It's from you deciding that their distance is a complete disaster that you have to fix right now. The panic this creates is unreal. Your mind becomes a war zone. You replay conversations trying to find one mistake you made. You wait for a text, and every minute that goes by, your stomach twists into a tighter knot. You see them talking to someone else, and your brain invents 50 different ways they're betraying you. Your peace isn't yours anymore. It's a hostage, held captive by someone else. You have literally handed over the keys to your own happiness. So, how do you take the keys back? You make a massive shift. You turn your focus away from the giant, chaotic ocean of what you can't control and focus it on the tiny, manageable island of what you can. For the Stoics, this list is surprisingly short, but it's where 100% of your power is. You can control your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, your reactions, and the person you decide to be. Instead of worrying if they're losing interest, focus on being the most interesting person you can be. Level up your hobbies, read books, learn new skills, and build a life so awesome that you aren't relying on one person for your entire sense of self. Instead of freaking out over their one-word text, control your reaction. Choose not to spiral. Choose to give them space. Choose to go for a walk, call a friend, Or work on your own project. Act from a place of self-respect, not desperation. Instead of trying to manipulate them into loving you, focus on being a loving and amazing person. Be kind, be honest, be respectful, because that's the person you want to be, no matter what they do. As the Roman emperor and Stoic powerhouse Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't about not caring, it's about being precise. It's the difference between a beginner shooting arrows wildly in a hurricane, hoping one hits, and a master archer who only focuses on their form, their breath, and their release, knowing the wind might do whatever it wants. The master's win comes from perfecting their own actions, not from an outcome they can't control. When you bring this to your love life, you take all your power back. Your emotional state is no longer a tiny boat getting wrecked by your partner's moods. It becomes a giant lighthouse, stable and solid. The anxiety disappears, not because you finally figured out how to control them, but because you finally realize you don't have to. You only ever had to control yourself. The second shift, find freedom in embracing impermanence. Okay, now we get to the core of it all. The secret that lets you care less in a way that paradoxically makes you a better lover. This is the challenge of embracing impermanence. Our world screams at us to find forever. We build relationships thinking they'll last, that today's feelings are locked in for 50 years. We cling to the present moment, terrified it's going to vanish. This clinging, this desperate need for certainty in a world that has none, is the fuel for almost all of our pain and love. The Stoics had a radical, game-changing alternative. They teach us to see everything, our jobs, our health, and yes, even the people we love the most, as temporary. The universe, as Marcus Aurelius was always writing, is constantly changing. Everything is flux. Everything's destiny is to change, to be transformed, to perish, so that new things can be born. This might sound depressing, but it's the exact opposite. It's the key to appreciating everything while deleting your fear. Epictetus had an insane analogy for this. He said you should treat the people you love like a favorite clay pot. You love it, you use it, but you're always aware that it's breakable. That way, if it breaks, you aren't destroyed. You just remember what it was. Then he applies this directly to people. What you love is nothing of your own. It has been given to you for the present. As a fig is given to you, or a bunch of grapes, at the appointed season of the year. Wishing your relationship will never change is like wishing for a fig in winter. You're fighting nature itself, and you will always lose that fight. This quiet, constant awareness that nothing lasts forever does something incredible. It kills desperation. When you truly accept that this relationship, like everything, is temporary, you stop trying to nail it to the floor. You stop trying to own the other person. Your love stops being about possession and starts being about appreciation. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The anxious move is to squeeze your fist, trying to keep every grain, but the tighter you squeeze, the faster the sand pours out. The only way to hold it is with an open palm, appreciating it while it's there. This is the Stoic way to love. You love with an open hand, not a clenched fist. This mindset lets you actually be present, instead of living in a fantasy future where everything is perfect, or a nightmare future where it's all gone. You can live in the now. You can appreciate your partner for who they are today. In this moment, without the insane weight of forever. The time you have together becomes 100x more valuable because you know it's not a guarantee. Every conversation, every laugh is a gift. This isn't about being dark and constantly telling your partner you might break up. It's a secret, internal mindset. It's a quiet understanding that frees you from the tyranny of what if? What if they leave? What if they change? The Stoic answer is, they might. My job isn't to stop what's inevitable, but to love like crazy and be an amazing person in the time I'm given. When you do this, you stop caring so much about keeping the relationship and you start caring more about growing it. The fear of loss shrinks because you've already made peace with loss as a part of life. And in that acceptance, you find an insane, paradoxical freedom. You are free to love bigger and more bravely than ever before, without the anxious clinging that always suffocates the very thing it's trying to save. The third shift. Become an emotional detective and discover your why. The first two shifts gave you God-tier strategies for the outside world. Now we go internal. The third Stoic challenge is to become an emotional detective. Put on your trench coat, bust out the magnifying glass, and investigate the real source of your attachment. Stoicism is all about self-examination. It demands we understand the why behind what we feel. When you feel that crazy urge to check their phone, that tidal wave of panic when they don't text back, or that deep fear of being alone, you're just seeing symptoms. The desperate clinging isn't the real disease. A good detective doesn't just look for fingerprints. They look for a motive. Here's a tough pill to swallow. Your insane attachment is almost never about the other person. It's about you. It's about an empty hole inside you that you're desperately trying to fill with their love and approval. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to ask yourself some direct and honest questions, and you cannot flinch from the answers. First, are you terrified of being lonely? Be brutally honest. Is this person just a shield against an empty apartment? Is the relationship just a strategy to avoid your own company? So many people stay in terrible situations because being alone seems like the end of the world. But a Stoic knows that being alone and being lonely are two totally different things. A person who is self-reliant can never be lonely because they're always in good company. Next, are you just hungry for validation? Does your self-worth shoot to the moon when they praise you and crash to zero when they're distant? If yes, you've made another human being the judge, jury, and executioner of your value. That's a game you will always lose. The Stoic path teaches that true worth comes from inside, from your character. It can't be given to you, and it can't be taken away. If you're chasing their approval to feel good, you've outsourced the most important job you have, building your own self-respect. Or are you replaying a past trauma? Is your fear of abandonment today just an echo from your past? Maybe a parent was distant, or another partner left you out of nowhere. Your brain, trying to protect you, is now on super high alert, seeing threats of that same pain everywhere. You're not reacting to your partner, you're reacting to a ghost. Understanding this helps you separate today from yesterday's shadows. Finally, are you attached to an idea, not a person? This is one of the biggest traps. You've built a fantasy version of your partner and the relationship in your head. You're in love with their potential, with the what could be. You ignore every red flag because it doesn't fit the story you've written. Your desperate caring isn't for the real person. It's for the fictional character you need them to be. Stoicism demands we see reality. Do you have the guts to ask, am I in love with them or my idea of them? Answering these questions isn't about destroying yourself. It's an act of liberation. Once you find the root cause, the why, you can start to fix the real problem. If you fear loneliness, you can build a life you love by yourself. If you need validation, you can start building self-worth from the inside. This detective work starves the anxiety monster because you realize it was never about them. It was about an unmet need inside of you. And the most empowering truth is, you're the only one who can ever truly meet that need. The fourth shift, build an unshakable inner fortress. So once you've done your detective work, it's time for construction. The fourth Stoic challenge is to build an unshakable inner fortress, what Marcus Aurelius called your inner citadel. This means building such an insane sense of self-reliance and inner worth that your peace is totally separate from your relationship status. Most people's emotional stability is like a tent in a hurricane. Their happiness is flimsy, totally at the mercy of the weather. A nice text is a sunny day. A fight is a raging storm. If the relationship ends, the whole tent is gone, leaving them with nothing. The Stoic, however, builds their emotional home out of solid stone from the inside out. The philosopher Seneca said that if our happiness depends on stuff we can't control like another person, then disappointment isn't just possible, it's guaranteed. Self-reliance means taking your happiness into your own hands. This isn't about being selfish. It's about becoming a complete person on your own, so that a relationship is an awesome bonus to your life, not the source of it. A self-reliant person gets into a relationship not because they need to, but because they choose to. They're there to share their completeness, not to fix their emptiness. So how do you build this fortress? First, anchor your self-worth in your character. Your value as a human doesn't come from being picked by someone. It comes from your actions. Are you honest? Are you kind? Are you disciplined? The Stoics believed the only real goal was to live a good life, and that is 100% in your control. Your partner can leave you, but they can't take away your integrity. When your self-esteem is tied to your own actions, it becomes unbreakable. Second, you have to build a life that is packed with purpose, totally separate from your partner. What are your passions? Your goals? What makes you feel alive? Too many people just dissolve their own life into their partners. They drop their hobbies, ditch their friends, and let their own dreams die. They become a tiny moon orbiting a planet. That is a dangerous game. If the planet moves, the moon is just lost in space. You have to stay your own planet, have your own friends, chase your own goals. This doesn't push people away. It means you're bringing a more complete, more exciting person to the relationship. Third, practice voluntary hardship. This is a classic Stoic technique that's like a workout for your resilience. Every so often, choose to be a little uncomfortable. Sleep on the floor, take a cold shower, eat boring food for a day. What does this have to do with love? Everything. These small challenges prove to you that you can handle discomfort. They teach you that your happiness doesn't depend on constant pleasure. When you know you can handle being uncomfortable, you become less terrified of the potential pain of a breakup or a fight. You know you'll be okay because you've literally trained yourself to be okay. Building this inner fortress is a lifelong mission. It takes daily work, but every stone you lay makes you stronger. Over time, you create a safe house in your own mind that nobody can ever break into. From this position of insane strength, you can love more freely. You stop caring so much about losing them because you know that no matter what happens, you can never lose yourself. The fifth shift, detach with dignity through healthy boundaries. This final challenge brings all the others into the real world. Because let's be real, the word detachment can sound cold. But in the Stoic sense, emotional detachment isn't about not caring. It's about loving from a place of strength, not neediness. And the tool you use to do this is healthy boundaries. Boundaries are just you respectfully saying what you will and will not accept. They're the rules that protect your inner peace, your inner fortress. Without them, your relationship is chaos, and your energy is constantly drained trying to manage things you can't control. Here's the key. Setting a boundary is not an attack. It's an act of self-respect. It's the line you draw that says, I care about you, but I also care about me. My well-being is my job, and I will protect it. So, what does this look like? It means defining your non-negotiables. What will you absolutely not tolerate? Disrespect, lying. A healthy boundary is saying, calmly, I can't have this conversation if you're going to speak to me like that. Let's talk later when we can both be respectful. Boom. You're not controlling them. You're controlling your own participation. You're protecting your peace. It means learning to say no. People who care too much are often addicted to people-pleasing. They say yes to everything because they're scared no will make the other person leave. But every time you say yes to something that you hate, you're saying no to yourself. A boundary is having the guts to say, I can't do that tonight. I need some time for myself without feeling guilty. It also means respecting their no. This is a huge part of detaching with dignity. Anxious love tries to smash through the other person's boundaries. It demands attention 24/7 and gets mad when they need space. Detachment with dignity is when they say, I need a night alone, and you respond not with panic, but with respect. You say, okay, I get it. Have a great night. This shows confidence, not desperation. This whole process is about freedom, not rejection. You're not pushing them away. You're reclaiming your own center of gravity. When your partner knows you have boundaries, they respect you more. The entire dynamic shifts from neediness to mutual respect between two complete individuals. This is the ultimate way to not care so much. You stop caring about managing their every single feeling and start caring about maintaining your own dignity. You detach from the outcome and attach to the principle of self-respect. You still care about the person, but your love is no longer built on sacrificing yourself. And that allows you to love from a place of having more than enough, not from a place of scarcity. These 5 challenges aren't quick fixes. They take practice, patience, and serious courage. But building a peaceful and resilient heart is the ultimate prize. If this video helped you, smash that like button and subscribe for more content to level up your life. And now I have a challenge for you. Which of these 5 shifts do you need to work on the most right now? Let us know in the comments. Seeing everyone's experiences is a huge reminder that you are not alone in this. And if you know someone who's struggling with this, share this video. It might be exactly what they need to see today. The journey to stop caring so much in love isn't a journey to becoming a robot. It's a journey to freedom. It's realizing that the crazy, anxious, clinging feeling we think is love is actually its opposite. It's fear. It's the fear of loss, the fear of being alone, the fear of not being good enough. The Stoic secret is to face these fears head on. Armed with this ancient wisdom, it's about understanding what you can and cannot control and finding total liberation in that difference. It's about embracing the beautiful, heartbreaking fact that nothing lasts forever, and because of that, learning to love the present moment even more. It's about having the courage to look inside yourself and fix the parts that are trying to find someone else to make you feel complete. And it's about building an inner fortress of self-worth so strong that no storm can ever tear it down. When you use these principles, your love transforms. It stops being a source of anxiety and becomes a source of strength. You no longer search for a partner to complete you. You connect with another person to share your completeness. You love freely, without desperation, because you know that letting go of control is the ultimate act of power. You stop being the storm, thrown around by every emotion. You become the anchor, calm, steady, and grounded in your own unshakable self. And that is a love that can survive anything.